My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. 99 missed calls. The screen glowed in the dark like an accusation. Her name, his name, numbers I hadn't saved but still recognized in my bones. 7 years of silence. I let it buzz until it went quiet again. The last message slipped through anyway. Please, we need you. I stood in my kitchen, barefoot on cold tile, listening to the refrigerator hum like nothing in the world had changed. Outside, rain pressed against the windows, steady and patient. I remembered the sound of a door slamming, the weight of my briefcase in my hand. Her voice, flat, rehearsed. You'll be back begging in a month. I hadn't answered then either. I set the phone face down, counted my breath. 1, 2, 3. I wasn't angry. That was the unsettling part. Curiosity crept in instead. Why now? Why so many calls? Why after 7 clean, quiet years? I already knew the answer wasn't simple. It never had been. Back then, I told myself it was just business. I funded the company, built it from late nights and silent sacrifices, trusted my wife and her father to run what I couldn't be in the room for. Trust is efficient until it isn't. The day they pushed me out, there was paperwork waiting, signatures highlighted, smiles too tight to be real. Her father wouldn't meet my eyes. My wife did, too easily. Something flickered there, not guilt, relief. I noticed the small things after I left, the way she stopped answering certain questions, how she smelled like a different soap, how her phone never left her hand. I told myself I was imagining it. Men do that when their pride is bruised. They invent betrayals to justify failure. But some nights, lying on a borrowed couch, I replayed moments that didn't fit. Her laughter going quiet when I entered rooms, his hand on her shoulder, lingering. It wasn't proof, just discomfort. I buried it. I needed distance more than answers. So I walked away from the company, from the marriage, from the version of myself that needed to be chosen. Distance sharpens memory. In my new life, I learned to observe without reacting, to sit still and let patterns emerge. I rebuilt quietly. Different industry, different city, no shared accounts, no shared beds. Still, questions followed me like static. I hired a private firm under a shell account, not to spy, to confirm I was wrong. Phone records, travel overlaps, expense reports. I didn't look at them all at once. I paced it, 1 file per week, letting the truth drip instead of drown me. Hotels booked under his assistant's name. Weekends they claimed were board retreats. A DNA test slipped into the process when their son was born. Routine on paper, anonymous in practice. I went about my days smiling at colleagues, cooking dinner for one, sleeping 8 hours. Inside, something coiled tighter with every confirmation. I never confronted them. I wanted the full picture, the entire map of the lie. By the time the final report arrived, I wasn't shaking. I was calm. That frightened me more than anger ever could. The envelope was thin. It didn't need to be thick to ruin lives. I read it once, then again, just to appreciate the precision. The child wasn't mine. I drove to their house without calling, sat across from them at the long dining table where deals used to be celebrated. I slid the report toward my wife. No speech, no questions. She opened it. Her face collapsed inward like a structure losing its supports. Her father stood abruptly, knocked his chair over. "This isn't what you think," he said. I finally spoke. "It's exactly what I think." My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. She started crying, loud, desperate, as if volume could bend reality. I watched, detached, taking inventory of the moment. I had my answer. They thought that was the end. It wasn't. I had already moved the pieces. The company they stole from me, built on my capital, my patents, my legal foresight. I waited until the contracts matured, until their expansion leaned entirely on clauses I controlled. One email, sent by my lawyer, clinical, polite, funding withdrawn, rights reclaimed, lawsuits filed. I didn't attend the board meeting where it all collapsed. I read the minutes later. Her father had tried to speak, couldn't finish a sentence. My wife called me that night, over and over. I never picked up. Power isn't shouting, it's choosing silence when someone else finally understands the cost. Now, 7 years later, the phone lies still. I know what they want. Forgiveness, rescue, another chance to lean on something they didn't earn. I pick up the phone at last, delete every message. I don't feel victorious, I feel clear. They took years from me. I took nothing back. I simply stepped out of their reach. Some doors don't need to be slammed. They just need to stay closed.